Welcome back. Today we are looking at a problem that gets treated with high priority, and yet it keeps showing up in real operations. You investigated the incident, completed the paperwork, and held the meeting, but the same incident happened again, which tells you the risk was documented, not controlled. Recurring incidents usually mean the corrective actions were too weak, controls were not verified in the field, or retraining was treated as the fix. So here's the question. What if you're investigating your incidents, but they keep reoccurring? If it keeps happening, the question is not just what happened, it is why the system keeps allowing it, and whether the fix actually works under normal conditions. Why is reoccurrence the real KPI nobody wants to talk about? If you investigate 10 incidents and the same exposure repeats, your investigation system is producing activity, not prevention. That matters because investigations are supposed to drive corrective actions that reduce risk and stop recurrence, not just document the past. Enforcement is clear that root cause analysis is about finding underlying causes so similar incidents do not happen again. So when recurrence continues, it is telling you one of three things happened. You missed the real causes, you did not implement the actions, or the actions were not strong enough to control the hazard in real work. The good news is recurrence is clean feedback. It narrows your focus to a few predictable failure points that show up across industries. And that means you can fix this if you stop treating closure as proof of control. Here's the most common reasons incidents reoccur even after an investigation. First, surface causes get treated like root causes. Worker wasn't paying attention sounds tidy, but it is usually the last link in the chain. And if you stop there, you default to retraining while the conditions that created the error stay untouched. Second, corrective actions are too weak to compete with real work. Reminders, emails, and toolbox talks cannot beat time pressure, poor equipment fit, missing supplies, or supervision signals that reward speed over compliance. So the risk comes right back. Third, the fix never gets verified. Teams close actions on paper, but nobody checks if exposure actually dropped during normal operations, including busy shifts and awkward jobs, which means closure becomes a feeling instead of proof. Fourth, the investigation focuses on the event, not the controls. Instead of asking only what the worker did, ask what control should have prevented the exposure and why it failed or was missing, because that is where you find bypassable guarding, weak planning, and maintenance gaps. Fifth, potential severity gets underestimated. If a high-potential near miss is treated as minor, it gets a minor response, and the organization learns to ignore warning shots. Finally, ownership is unclear. If actions do not have one accountable owner, a due date, and closeout evidence, they drift and die while everyone assumes the hazard is handled. Here's the micro tips that can help. Start every investigation by asking what control should have prevented the exposure. Then test each barrier against the evidence so you are fixing system weaknesses instead of blaming the last person in the chain. Write corrective actions that change the conditions of work, because actions that rely on memory, reminders, and perfect behavior will get crushed by production pressure. Assign every action a single accountable owner, a due date, and a clear closeout evidence standard, so actions do not drift and die while everyone assumes the hazard is handled. Make verification mandatory by scheduling an effectiveness check that proves the control is present, used, and effective during normal operations, including busy shifts and awkward jobs. Use leading indicators tied to critical controls, such as field verifications, maintenance compliance, and effectiveness check completion, so you catch control drift before the next incident happens. Escalate the response when recurrence happens by increasing investigation depth, redoing the hazard assessment for the task, and triggering leadership review and resourcing decisions until the risk is actually controlled. If you want OH&S support that improves what actually happens in the field, not just what sits in a binder, visit calgarysafetyconsultants.ca and reach out. We will help you stop repeat incidents by shifting your investigations from paperwork to control improvement, tightening corrective actions so they change real work conditions, assigning clear ownership and closeout evidence, and building verification and effectiveness checks that prove controls are in place and working during normal operations, so closed on paper becomes prevention on site.